I apologize for that. And here we see these are the contracts that I sold. I sold all of these put options on. I saved all of these put options. Oh yeah, I apologize. I am recording on an iPhone. I am working on getting this displayed on a computer monitor. But as you can see, these put options that I purchased for the 13,340 strike for a call option, I sold them in the range of 1,530 minutes all the way up to 1,554 minutes. And the total realized profit on this move was $160,000 profit. It would have been more for, I believe it would have been about 310,000, but I had issues selling this large contract size. This was one of my first trades doing such a large amount of contracts, and I just had difficulty selling. If the trade selling were to have gone smoothly, I would have exited for 310. Lessons learned from this trade. One, make sure that you have the most efficient selling options in order to have the best edge in your selling in order to exit at maximum profit, because as the market is moving, your profit margins can be affected. Second lesson I learned was, as futures are trading, if you see a very large passive buyer and who is continuing to absorb despite selling efforts, and this buyer is continuing to absorb and he is very aggressive on the tape, you need to understand and look for context why he is aggressive, why he or she may be aggressive. In the context of this trade, there was a federal minutes meeting that was going to happen the next week. And in that minutes meeting, people or investors were going to be um, they were going to be anticipating whether the Federal Reserve was going to be tightening monetary policy. And in this particular trade, this was in order to boost the market sentiment, in order to rally into the next week. And as you can see, we did rally into the next week for a few days. And this was in order to elevate the price to remove equity positions at the maximum profit that they could get. So in the context of this trade, I only took it because I saw there's a very large passive buyer. Fed minutes was going to be the following week on a Wednesday, and they needed to create a bullish market sentiment in order to elevate their positions and exit at maximum profit. So that is the only reason I stayed in despite the ups and downs on this trade. And the buyers continued to buy, sellers were getting obliterated, and it was evident with the high close on the 14th. The close was, let me check it out. Close was around 13,670. So those were the lessons. One, observe passive buyers, observe how aggressive they remain after their passive orders are purchased, and look for any events that may give context to allow why they are pushing for a agenda for the upside. So those were the lessons from this trade. The final lesson, most important lesson, was to make sure that you have an edge when you are buying and selling your position, to exit for maximum profit and to exit for minimal loss. And in terms of risk management, this was a very low risk, high reward trade just because of the fact that this buyer continued to absorb, and I had volume confirmation with a custom volume bar that allowed for me to see that there was high volume to the buy side. So in terms of risk management, this would have been an amazing trade because the buyers were very evident. It was clear, and I would not have continued to average down and chase contracts because because I already placed them the day before. There's no need to continue adding on to a position if you're already on the right side of it. So risk management, this was an excellent trade. I would rate it probably a 6 or 7 out of 10 because there's a lot more you learn about risk management. but for the sake of this trade and what I had, I would rate it a 6 or a 7. So those are the lessons that I learned, and I am going to do another video on the next trade that I took the following week, and I will be going over the lessons I learned, reasons I took this trade, and I will continue my observations and speak extemporaneously. In the future, I really hope to get a script down, but for the sake of these videos, I find that I learn the most lessons and have the best cognitions and realizations speaking extemporaneously. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.